Well, it's been a while, about 4 years. I thought with the latest Trials game, Trials Rising, releasing in about a month's time, like a month and 1 day roughly, I'd make another video. This one's to reflect on my original first takes against my most recent best runs. On the left will be the original, taken from my video series, and the right has been recorded thanks to Alien. With that said, hey everybody, Gergnerd here, and welcome to Trials Friday. I've noticed that there is a few tracks where I'm attempting challenges which has unfortunately led to me doing worse than I could have achieved, but nonetheless, these are my first attempts. Turbine Terror was the first track I attempted, and it was an interesting start to Fusion. After being pressured by Alien to do better, I managed to have a really good time. I wasn't originally fussed with skill games, but Triple J had beaten me on Big Air, and I couldn't have that. So I went back and managed to get over 150. Base Invader was hell. Myself, Nonga, and Alien went back and forth, taking each other to the limit, and I managed to reach top 4 in the country, with Alien at 7 and Nonga at 11. I think the hardest part for this track was getting the climb right and also hitting the spring platform, whatever you want to call it. Also looking at the quality, back when I did the video series I had a capture device and it only went up to 720 and 30 FPS. That's why the quality looks so shit. And then on the right you got Alien's 1080 60 FPS recording of my times. Temple Trouble. Originally I wasn't going to include this in my little recap video or like reflection video, but Alien informed me that my run was really good. After checking it out again, I hit most things perfectly. It was probably the best way I could have done the track. To be honest, FMX, it was good. I know it was bad. It wasn't the best. I hated it at first, just because it was difficult to get like my head around. But once being informed that you have to hold the move until it turns orange, that kind of inspired me to really try. And I did really well. Managed to get platinums on all the FMX. So most of the time it was a breeze. It was just not repeating the same move too much and landing right. I did have some stumbles, like landing on my back near the end, and also not landing right, but it was a good score. included the first track, Turbine Terror, so I had to include the last story track, The Greater Crater. To me, the track was rather easy, in the sense that leading up to everything, it was a lot more fluid. Until you go down is when I would just fumble and stumble and crash and burn. Alien, once again, decided he wanted to beat me, and I had to stay on top. I had to beat that bitch. Probably the hardest part for me was the jump just before the descent. I generally couldn't clear it. I watched Alien's replay and he clears it perfectly and falls down, whereas I just couldn't. I'd just fuck it up every time. And I also struggled with the bottom section. Like when I'd get down to the bottom, I would panic because it'd be a close time between myself and Alien, and so I would push myself too far and end up slipping off the circular platform things, and then just crash and have to restart again. But it's amazing, like reflecting on like then and now, and how like there's a minute difference between my first attempt and my most recent attempt, and obviously the faults. Now we're approaching the extreme tracks. This Eye of the Storm, this was a bitch. Like, it's not like the hardest extreme track, but it's also annoying. This track took me a lot of time to get perfect. Well, near enough perfect, because it was more certain parts I wouldn't hit right, or Alien would just, do a back wheel bunny hop to hit the little section first, and therefore skip like another second ahead of me. The log where you go up, originally I would stop and then take it after stopping, but his run, he pushed ahead and did it all in one swoop, so I had to do it myself. Now for my most hated track. I absolutely hate this track because it's just so annoying for me. Rock of Rages, I despise it the most. It drives me nuts. Like, I probably spent the most amount of time out of all of them, except Inferno, trying to get a platinum. The chasm jump in the middle is one of the key points that I really hate, and also the box at the end, like the white box where you land on. That would kill my run so many times. Besides that, it was just getting there. Like, I didn't really have much trouble getting there. It was more the fact that I could have a great run for it to be halted because I didn't hit the chasm jump correctly, and it would just kill my run. So, halfway through the course, and then it's just like, no, I'm not letting you go any further. If it was at the start like Frostbite, then it would have been much better, in my opinion, because less time wasted, but And I found it funny how in my first and most recent run, I stuff up the scaffolding and have to stop and correct myself. I never normally do that. I normally hit it like first time, go through it, but It's funny how my best run at the time, I mess it up. Light City Run. It's probably the most recent track that I got a platinum time on. Alien and Noongar beat my previous time, so I had to beat them, obviously. At the start here, my wheel got stuck on the sign. Normally I could clear it, but it just wanted to get stuck. So that killed like at least 1 or 2 seconds for me. This part I went extra slow, dropped down on my back wheel, when in other times I would just go down and pop back up. So that was another like 2 seconds I wasted. Lastly, the fence. Another part that gets killed many runs right at the end. Very disheartening. One of the first times I got it first try. Frostbite. My second hated map. It's mainly due to the bounce at the start. It drives me nuts also. Chasm jumps, I guess, just get me, where you're having to jump over a large area or like a large chasm, and if you fall, you're screwed. It's really all about momentum and keeping that momentum. And so originally I had no idea how to make the chasm jump without like faulting, because I normally would fault and then go from the checkpoint and make it across. But Alien informed me that there's a way you drop down and you can use your momentum to get across. Now this isn't the perfect run, and I'm sure I could do better, but I'm just happy I got it done. And probably by the time this video is out, Noongar has beaten me, because this is what he's currently up to, and I'm not looking forward to going back and doing this track again. There's really just 3 parts that get me. You got the chasm jump at the start, you got the H bounce, I call it, where there's a little platform in between 2 larger platforms, and then the little rock near the end that screw me over. Besides that, the track I've got pretty down packed. Last but not least, Inferno. I thought I would never get a platinum on this. If it wasn't for the sudden influx of Alien and Noongar getting back into trials and pushing me to become better, I probably would have never gotten platinum. So I thank them for that. This run is nowhere near perfect. Like, there are so many parts I could improve upon, but just as Frostbite, this track I'm just glad to have platinum, and I'm sure Noongar will do a good time. I don't know if he'll beat me. It's more because of how hectic this track can be, but if he does beat me, I'm gonna have to go back. Unless Rising comes out, well, then I might forget. Let's put it that way. Also, fuck the barrels. All in all, after 4 years I managed to platinum all the tracks, and I believe I am ready to take on Rising. Alien, Noongar, be ready. until next time, to take from Alien, I'll see you later.